welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I made a video. Business has been really good, even with the pandemic. Actually, the business has probably gotten better. People wanting to make a lot of improvements to their homes. So good, I didn't have time to make any videos while I was doing the work. There's so much to do, but I wanted to slow down a little bit. I finally got a cap for the back of my truck to make getting around with some materials a little easier, particularly in the wintertime. And when it's raining, I can keep my tools in the back and lock them up and don't have to worry about bringing them in the house every night. So with that, with adding the cap, it sort of makes things, like when you're doing demos, makes it a little bit harder. So what I did was researched some people's ideas for bed slides to bring things out, so you don't have to crawl up in the back of the truck in order to get your tools. So this project is an amalgamation of other people's ideas all put together and a few of mine, and just trying things and see if they work and changing things around. So it's a pretty simple project, and it was actually fun to build. Haven't completely finished it. I think I'm probably going to put something anti-skid on top of the plywood, but for right now it's just what I need in order to get tools in and out easily. So I'll show you how that comes together here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you. I didn't make the video of me actually making it, but I'll deconstruct it so I can show you how I put it together and what it's made of. Show you some of the mistakes that I made and some of the changes that I made to the design from other people's ideas. All right, here's a look at it. Like I said, I haven't painted it or anything like that. Not that that's necessary to do. You see it just fits in the bed. I wanted it as tight as I could get it to the tailgate once it's closed, so it wouldn't slide around. I wasn't sure if I would need to secure it to the bed at this point. It is not, because it's heavy enough to stay in place. But if that were to become an issue, I would probably, rather than screw it to the bed, I would do some sort of wedge material, wedge some wood in there to keep it tight from moving around. So I'll show you real quick. For as heavy as the top is, it slides out super easily. You can sort of get a peek at the roller bearings there that I have mounted on the bottom piece of plywood. I'll show you the side here. It's 3/4 inch BCX plywood, which is pretty heavy, but I wanted to make sure that it would hold up to the abuse of just throwing tools on it, and when I do demolition, throwing garbage on top of it. So what I'll do is take out the top part, then I'll show you the bottom part, construction. Alright, so I haven't put any stop shed in it yet to keep it from coming out all the way. What I would do is just mount a piece of wood at a certain point on the top, and then mount one on the guide rail to keep it from going out any further than I wanted to. But I went ahead and pulled it out past further than I would normally. And what I've constructed here is a leg. It's kind of crooked now because I'm sitting in the incline in the driveway that drops out when it gets pulled past the tailgate. So all it is a piece of 1x4 that I made into a T and used pocket hole screws to hold together and an old hinge. Now, the warning for that is don't let this happen to you, because my finger was in the wrong place and it literally guillotined the tip of my finger off. So that's kind of a dangerous thing. But originally I didn't have this leg on here, but I decided to add it just for a little extra stability, so when I'm on the job I could use this basically as a desk or a cutting area. So I'll show you the underside here. I mounted these pieces of wood here, so when it's
extended, it would be a little bit more rigid on the tailgate. All right, I'll take you up here. So right here we got the 3/4 inch plywood, and then I mounted 2x4s to the top of that, screwed from below with 3-inch screws, so it's super rigid. Right here, this piece of wood just as a guide to keep the top in. Okay, so these are the roller bearings. I got these at Menards, but I know they're available at Harbor Freight as well. So they stand an inch and a quarter tall, and with adding the top, which is 3/4, and then so I think this probably ended up being maybe 1 inch and 1/8. So it's just enough guide to keep the top from coming out, and it doesn't rub at all with all these roller bearings in here. There's 16 of these roller bearings on the bottom part, because I bought out what Menards had and didn't go anyplace else because I wasn't sure if I'd need them, but it's rolling really well. So what I'll show you next is I'll flip over the top part and show you the roller bearings on the top part that helps it move a little bit easier as well. So here's a shot of the bottom of the actual slide out piece. Now I ended up having to use some 5/8 roller bearings, whereas the other ones on the bottom are 1 inch. So I had to fur these down just so it rolls a little bit better. Now if I would have had more of the bigger ones, I wouldn't have had to fur down here. But this also helps it to keep a little bit more stable inside. And there again, there's these two pieces of wood here called fins, in order to stabilize it once it's extended out. And you get a better look at the T-leg there with the hinge, which I may end up making it wider and putting 2 hinges in there. But there again, it gets kind of dangerous too. If I may put some kind of a clip in there to keep the leg from coming down until I want it to. So some kind of like cabinet latch or something like that. Here's a look at the inside without the top end. Here's a different shot of it. You can see with the leg extended out, and it's about 78 inches, I think, is the length of the top here. So you can see that it's pretty stable even with just that one leg, because it's not even resting on the tailgate anymore, but even if the leg wasn't out, it would still be pretty stable. All right, so there's a look at the truck slide project. I made this probably for under $200. It was a fun build to mentally engineer, make a few drawings of, and take some other people's ideas and add them with mine, make something that works. So hopefully maybe somebody will try it just the way I did. Thanks for watching.